Hey guys, it's Mag212 and this is a video of a small modification. Quick little overview of what this is if it's not immediately apparent. This is part of the crossfire bow from the Zombie Strike line, and then I crammed an Air Max 6 tank in here. The Air Max tank is identical to the new Panther tanks. They're about that big and they store a lot of power. Going over the internals first, after I cut down the crossfire bow shell, I stuffed the Air Max tank in there, and then I used vinyl tubing and relocated the trigger to behind the stock crossfire trigger. So in order to release the dart, you pull the normal trigger and that will depress the air valve, releasing the air. I redirected the air from the trigger mechanism to a pump right here, which is the Air Max 6 pump. If the handle looks a little different to you, that's because I took part of a retaliator grip and glued that onto the pump for a very comfortable pump handle. I had to modify the shell a little bit so this piece of vinyl tubing could go from the trigger mechanism to the air tank. In order to secure the pump, I epoxied it to one side of the shell, and then I glued a piece of CPVC pipe to the pump, and I bolted the CPVC to the other side of the shell. That's just to make the pump more secure so it doesn't fall off when you're pumping at high pressures. Just a quick little close-up here. This is the pump right here, and the CPVC pipe is glued to the pump, and then I have two screws going through the CPVC pipe, and it's bolted into the crossfire shell here. I made a little pump stop right here out of the retaliator bar that holds in the access door. I drilled a hole through the side of the pump and stuck that bar in so I can pull my pump and it won't come out, so I don't have to worry about it coming out when I'm pumping. I also glued a 1/2-inch PVC coupler to the tank so I can fit on my barrel systems. This is about 5 or 6 inches of CPVC, which is nested inside 1/2-inch PVC. And because I have a 1/2-inch PVC coupler on the inside, I can insert my barrel like that. I also filled the handle of the crossfire with epoxy putty because originally there are little slits. So what I did is I just filled the hole with epoxy putty and sanded that down so it's super smooth. That covers all the modifications, so moving on to the very simple paint job. The base coat for this entire blaster was a black vinyl dye. I didn't do any details on top because this was meant to be a realistic looking pistol, and I think it turned out very nicely. So now I'll cut to a firing demo and some chronograph readings. So as you can see, the Air Max tank is very powerful. It's shooting about 150 something feet per second on average, and that's super hard compared to any other stock Nerf gun. But that's the end of my overview on this pistol. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.